Nuke stream? I think I should, actually. The animation studios. Yeah, okay, well, I'll be right back. New ATLA sequel. They need to stop making stuff in the Avatar universe. Okay, they can make comics. You are not matching up to The Last Airbender in quality. You have to stop. I'm sorry, I am biased. More ATLA leaks? Well, it wouldn't be The Last Airbender, would it? The new earthbending avatar is the girl with a prosthetic leg, and the guy is her airbending mentor. Apparently, he flies using a hoverboard. Looks like there are 7 settlements, and everything outside of them is a wasteland. I guess at the end of Korra, they developed like a gigantic mecha with a laser beam. So I guess like Korra defeats Kuvira at like age 21. Age 22, Earth Kingdom develops thermonuclear weapons. What can the Avatar do against that? The land looks spirity. Yeah. I hope it's good. Kids content is all slop these days. This isn't being made for kids. This is being made for people who like grew up on ATLA. Same with Korra. Like Korra wasn't made for kids. It was made for the people who grew up watching ATLA. It's for us, basically. Could actually be cool if it's like 80s sword and sorcery vibe. It still bothers me a little bit that at the end of The Last Air... So a big theme in The Last Airbender was the development of new technology. There were multiple episodes that were like heavily focused on the Fire Nation, like the new technology they developed to facilitate their conquest of the world. The airships, like the flying machines were like the big overarching one, but there was a lot of stuff in that ballpark. And also the theme of progression with the nature of bending itself, right? Like, you have like, you know, metal bending with Toph, and you have lightning bending, right? Like and the submarine, yeah. There was a lot of stuff like that, which was pretty cool. It really felt like a mid 1800s like turn of the Industrial Revolution. Only the Fire Nation has industrialized. The Earth Nation is still largely agrarian. You know, like that kind of thing. The Water Nation and Air Nations were basically like not tribal, but they weren't even. I mean, the Air Nation kind of got stopped in their tracks a little bit, so what are you going to do? But, like, that was a big theme. And then you move forward one generation, and the Korra series is meant to happen, like, in the, you know, early 20th century, which is fine. But one thing that I didn't like is, like, I guess it became less about the bending over time. I don't know. Like, I really liked the way things were handled in seasons 1 and 3. No one liked season 2, but everything became like spirit energy because of that. Like spirit power, spirit power, spirit power. Like it's all nebulous, wishy-washy. And then for season 4, they have a fucking mech with a laser beam. And I get it, it's cool. Like I'm not saying it's not cool. It's just like, I don't know. It used to be about the bending, man. Did this need to be the final boss of season 4? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I understand that technological development is an overarching theme, and I understand that it's the turn of the, you know, 20th century, so a lot of new shit is being developed, but this is pretty far out of line. Like, this is not, we've developed a new kind of steerable airship. We've developed a dirigible, you know? We've built the Hindenburg, and the king of the Fire Nation is going to nuke the Earth Kingdom from orbit or whatever. Like, that's one thing. This is literally future tech. I love Kuvira as an antagonist, even though they spared her because she's a woman. Don't you fucking pretend Kuvira was a million times more evil than Zahir. Zahir was a way better person, but because Zahir was a scary bald man, he had a less sympathetic, well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just sexist. I like Zahir. Yeah, you hear he murked the health insurance CEO guy in Midtown Manhattan the other day? That's fucking series 3 of Avatar right there. That's how it opens. It's literally like a big mech with a laser. It's just not very bending-y, you know? Wouldn't it have been cool, considering the fact that, like, the first Avatar series was pretty sociologically aware. Like, they were pretty aware of the extent to which their world was shaped by the material forces of like, fascism and, like, the Fire Nation. And, like, there was a lot that went into that, you know? They spent a lot of time talking about politics in the first show. Wouldn't it have been better if the big final boss up against, like, with Kuvira would have just been like fascist radicalization. I know that sounds high concept for a show, but like Kuvira, like the whole point of Kuvira as a character, which let me get a picture of her so you all remember we're talking about a hot lady, so you pay attention, okay? There we go. What if Hitler was pretty and had like a nice haircut, you know, and not the stupid shitty haircut that he had? Yeah, she's like a hot lesbian, so there you go. Like the whole point was that after Zahir murked the Earth Queen and sent the Earth Kingdom into disarray, Kuvira was a military leader who stepped up, unified the disparate nations that had split from the gigantic Earth Kingdom, and became like a fascist leader. But the thing was, like, in a lot of ways, she was right. Like, the Earth Kingdom was in chaos. She stepped up, she united it. The problem was she did so by being a strong man, or strong woman, and like crushing dissent and so on and so forth. Like, that's the whole point. Like, nobody gets to be a strong man off the back of nothing. You know what I mean? Like, no one steps up and wins as the strong man when day one everything's going perfect. Like, you lead into that. So what if there was a bunch of chaos and turmoil within whatever it's called, United City? What, the capital city, the one where everything takes place. And more people were siding with Kuvira. Because, like, they literally had a subplot, right? Where Bolin was working with her, Republic City. Wasn't that one of the subplots? Bolin was working with her to reunite the Shattered Earth Kingdom under her reign, and he agreed with her because all he saw was that she was like benevolent and trying to help out the kingdom, and at some point he got disillusioned and realized she was evil, and that's fine. But like, why wasn't that extended to Republic City? Like, why couldn't there have been a narrative where Korra is like, listen, I know that the promise of reunification is like tempting, and I know that technically Republic City used to be Earth Kingdom territory, and this is like the area that was like destroyed by Fire Kingdom occupation or Fire Nation occupation, but like, it's still the wrong way. Wouldn't that have been more interesting than she gets a gigantic mecha death laser robot? Come on, you know I'm right. That would have been way better to work with than like, this is the final boss. And you could still have like a giant final confrontation. Maybe Korra like succeeds in turning key political figures within Republic City. Like, half of them are misguided and half of them are like on Kuvira's payroll. It turns out that Kuvira has an ungodly amount of money because she like seized the assets of the Earth Queen, like the kingdom basically, and is using that money to bribe Republic City officials to get them like on board with her agenda. And Korra, like, some of the members of Republic City Council are like sincerely interested in reunification. Some of them are like, well, we're actually just on her payroll, and this whole thing gets found out. And then finally, like, Kuvira just attacks the city to conquer it, because that's what happens in real life when fascists don't succeed with their like Lebensraum reunification, teaching politics to kids. But they already like half did this, which is the frustrating thing. They already got halfway to making these points. Like, they did this kind of stuff in the first in the Last Airbender, and they built like one half of this premise in season 4 of Korra, but they were too cowardly to commit to the premise, and they could have had like a big final showdown. And of course, like, I guess one of the big issues too is that no one can match Korra. Like, that's one of the big problems that they keep having in the finales of Korra, because Korra's stronger than everyone. So in season 1, powers are taken away. Season 2, she's fighting like spirit, like, fuck leader of the spirit kingdom, Doom Prophet, right? Season 3, she's poisoned and dying while fighting like the super ultimate powerful group of anarchists. Like, she's like corked out of her mind. Season 4, she fights the gigantic death robot. But they managed this with Aang. Aang was way stronger than anyone. Even and admittedly, at the end of season 2 of The Last Airbender, they did seal away his avatar state, which was the reason why he was losing to Fire Lord Ozai during Sozin's Comet, up until he went sicko mode when he got hit in the back. But even without the avatar state, Aang was insanely strong. Like far and away much strong. Like, okay, I know I'm like doing a thing. I know I'm doing the thing that millennials do when they remember a thing from their childhood, and they're like, hold on, I need to stop everything in the world for 5 hours while I talk about it. But like, even in season 2, without the avatar state, we all agree that Aang could have like murked Azula very easily if he was like locked the in, right? Like, down there, he was like kind of you know, hamstrung by being a pacifist. But if he just like, you know, and it was like, I don't care anymore, and then just fought like full strength, he would have kicked her and everyone else's ass. The strength, it wasn't about his strength. It was about like ideology. You know, definitely not Ozai. No, he could have killed Ozai. Remember, even before his avatar state was unlocked, he redirected the lightning. That was a choice he made. Ozai fired a lightning bolt at him and he redirected it because Zuko taught him how to. And you saw Ozai realizing, holy shit, he's about to one-shot me, as Aang redirected the energy, but he chose to redirect it into the sky. Aang could have killed Ozai like that, even without the avatar. He was so strong, but they still made all of these fights compelling because The Last Airbender is like legitimately a 10 out of 10 show. But it feels like the only reason they had to go with the big mecha fight at the end of Korra was because they need there to be a threat that can face Korra. Because Kuvira can't beat Korra, obviously. No one can in a direct one-to-one fight. No other human can beat the Avatar, you know? I don't know. It just, I feel like they forgot that, like, there are like the intrigue with The Last Airbender and the succession of these fights was about ideology. Like, it was about who they were as characters, not just about, like, power level. Are we arguing nerfing the next Avatar is a better move in the main? You have to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. The Avatar should be the strongest guy. It's literally the Avatar. I'm saying that the thing that made Aang's struggles interesting was that they were morally and ideologically difficult for him. If you go back and rewatch The Last Airbender, basically every single conflict he faced, he could have won like that if he just locked in and was like, I am going to go sicko mode on you, it's over for you. The show keeps reminding you of that too. Like, every time he goes all out, he wins, but it's a morally complicated world. You know? It was a much more interesting show than him just failing to beat people. Like, he literally beat Zuko day one. They open with that. The second episode, I think, when he confronts Zuko in the Southern Water Tribe. Or Northern, I forget which one they start at. He wins against Zuko, who's really strong, day one. Southern, yeah, Southern. He wins against Zuko like day one. He wins like every real fight he gets in. He's always at a disadvantage, or there's some kind of like moral problem that he's struggling with. Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna make the strongest character in the show the main character, you have to settle on something other than power level for like the interest. You know, this is the reason why Mob Psycho is a much more interesting show than One Punch Man, because One Punch Man is a joke manga that ran too long. The joke being the protagonist is bored by how easily he wins, but all the show and the manga developed into was like, okay, what if we made it interesting by having other characters do shonen battle fights? And then at the end, Saitama shows up and wins, and it's like a joke, you know? And it's like, okay, that's a premise. But Mob Psycho is actually interesting, like narratively interesting. Like, you can do thematic analysis. Yeah, One Punch Man is fun and like cool when they fight or whatever. Mob Psycho is interesting. It's got like, you know, real shit going on. Stuff to chew on, I think. Because the real struggle for Mob isn't whether or not he's stronger than everyone. He is. Obviously. I'm sorry. I know I'm doing the millennial thing. I'm sorry. I know. I'm aware of my own mortality. Thank you. Anyway, I hope for good things here, I guess. If people are mad about this because the main character is disabled and brown, and this is f***ed up because in Avatar, there has never been a non-white character before. All the characters in Avatar were white up until this point, and there were no famous disabled characters. Do not Google Avatar disabled characters, because if you do, nothing will come up, so I'm saving you the time and effort. All right, it's woke nonsense. Everyone was white before, everyone was able-bodied before. What is the Avatar even supposed to do anymore now that the connection to all the other avatars has been severed? Like, the only avatar that this avatar will have a connection to is Korra, because they severed the man, that's fucked up though. Like, what are, like, all the other spirits are just chilling in the like, are all the other avatar spirits like dead forever? Or are they just in the spirit? Like, could you still access them by going to the spirit world? They're just not like directly connected to you? Because I think the implication is that if you die, like you're still chilling in the spirit world like Iroh is, right? If you're spiritually attuned, which all the avatars should be. So if you're disconnected, I feel like the disconnection is going to be retconned. I think they're going to say maybe Korra's connection was severed because her spiritual energy to them was blocked, but the cycle of reincarnation is like an eternal like cosmic force that extends well beyond that, you know? I always kind of thought the whole like if you die in the avatar state you die permanently for real thing was due for some kind of addressing or like an asterisk, because how do you know? It's never happened. You have memories going back all the way to the beginning. It's never happened. Like, you're kind of running on an assumption there. Like, you know? No, the cycles continued, but the spirits within Rava's container were basically destroyed by Vatu. I don't think that's possible. I think it's the connection in her mind, but the spirits of the former avatars should be in the spirit world. Like, your connection to them should just be like you can summon them to like directly commune with them without going to the spirit world, but their spirit should still be off like in the spirit mountains chilling. I don't know. I mean, I'm literally talking about like fantasy bullshit. I don't know. Just heads up, I thought I saw in the ATLA subreddit that some YouTubers were being DMCA'd for posting the leaks. Even this picture? DMCA'd for posting the picture? Nickelodeon. Wait, it wasn't me. Let me look that up. ATLA Reddit. Mega thread effective immediately. Alleged leak images are banned. You can discuss leaks in this post. What the f? Images?